If you're a developer and if you're watching this video, this is must for you. You, me, as well as most of the developers out here are more of a self-taught developer. They learn programming by themselves, practice in online tutorials and get familiar with them. But there's always a gap between a self-taught developer and a person who's experienced in development.
When employers want you to have 10 years of experience before the age of 22.
A self-taught developer is someone who spends hours into coding by learning few things by themselves by referring many online tutorials, blogs, Stack Overflow, etc.
So ChatGPT is a generative pre-trained transformer you can use to be more productive and creative. You really need to start using it.
There's also a major difference between a person who's using AI and a person who's not using AI. The before and after the rise of AI while doing software development. Like if they get into any bug fixes, usually they used to refer a lot of blog posts, Stack Overflow, etc. But now it comes straightforward where people don't need to refer so much of information and just directly go to the ChatGPT. Most of the time, at least 80% of the time, we get the desired answer for what we are trying to solve. Let it be a bug fix or whatever it is. Is coding so easy in relation with the software development career? Is it easy to code, like with the rise of AI and all this? If someone says it's easy to code, maybe it's easy to code from their perspective, but actually coding is a difficult job.
Days before OpenAI, developers code for 2 hours and debug for 6 hours.
Days after OpenAI, ChatGPT generates code for 5 minutes, but developer debugs for 24 hours.
Even with the rise of ChatGPT and all those AI tools, coding is still difficult in a real-world scenario. If someone says AI will take over your software job and AI will actually replace software development job, you can ask them these questions in return. Suppose you're feeling some health issues and based on your symptoms, you enter into the ChatGPT and it gives a set of precautions and what medicines to take. Would you rely on ChatGPT and directly do the doctor without going to the hospital? You won't, right? In a similar manner, even if people are able to develop some sort of mini applications with the help of all these AI tools, a real world application where it actually is secure and it also based on all the different business practices and also business logics to interact the client and get their corresponding information on how to improve the site, very complex.
Do you remember Devin AI? The first AI software engineer. Well, they lied. It turns out the demo video was fake and it failed to complete tasks provided by the customers.
CS grads often don't like these self-taught developers because they're able to land the same kind of jobs which these CS grads complete and join the job without much spending money using the many free resources which are available online. There are many self-taught developers who have decided not to do higher study engineering in order to accomplish something in computer science field. They learn everything by themselves using the online tutorials, and also many tech companies do not require a degree to get a tech job.
Tim Cook lays out what he looks for in an Apple employee, and no, a college degree isn't necessary.
They just require skills which can be assessed based on interviews and their ability to problem solve and also many other review standards. There is a saying that experience doesn't always be based on the number of years you work or the number of years you look into something. It's always based on your skill set and your ability to learn more and more things. This being said, there are few signs of inexperienced self-taught developers who learn things by themselves, but are they much experienced? Suppose as a self-taught developer with a single year of experience and that's another self-taught developer with 3 years of experience. Will they be same or how they could differ from each other? There are many significant reasons which we can point out. First one is poor code readability. Usually code written should be clear to understand and also be with proper comments and proper naming of variables and clear formatting. Usually as a fresher or even some experienced people don't much focus on all these coding standards.
When you finally catch the person that's been writing bad code all the time.
These actually prove that you're not a proper experienced developer. So even if you're beginning as a fresher or if you're working in code for a particular number of years, it's necessary like whatever code you write, if another person is seeing, he should be able to understand. So there should be at least a little bit comments for people to understand and also to do it better. There are even more online tools and there are more code making tools like even ChatGPT can help you to generate code. So make sure to use all these and have proper so that people who looks into your code are able to understand what it does. Also use meaningful variable names and proper linters such as ESLint can help you to format your code in a better way. Next one is lack of version control. Not using Git is actually a sign that you're not properly utilizing the code which you're writing on a regular basis. It's better to learn basic commands like git clone, git commit, and much other commands so that whenever you write a code, you will be able to push it to the GitHub and also version your code. Therefore, you won't lose anything, and in the long run, it will be really helpful for you. If you don't use Git, there's always a chance that your work might be lost. So it's necessary to learn the basic commands like git, commit, merge, and later on you can go for some advanced like pull requests and raise issues and much more. Next one is ignorant testing. Usually when you're actually starting to learn to code, you will be always focused on resolving the bugs and making the code run properly. After the code runs properly, you will be fine with that and you deploy it in your any free host that have, and it goes on. But usually in software development, when the code gets larger and larger, it's necessary that we need to write some sort of test cases in order to maintain the code in the long run. So it's better to learn what are unit tests, integration tests, and make sure that is incorporated in your project, because these tests will really help you to maintain your code in the long run. And also writing tests is a way to ensure that the code which are written is in a proper way. Generally, if you're solving code in lead code, coach for hacker rank, you try to solve a problem and it's necessary it should pass all the test cases. Like there will be like 1,000 or 500 test cases it needs to pass in order for us to get the desired output and to succeed the program. In a similar manner, whenever you write code, you must think of all the possible test cases and make sure to write them. In case after writing the code, after some days, if someone there's an issue or if come to a scenario where a piece of code is executed in a different way, you need to incorporate that as a test case to make sure and also fix that issue to make sure other test cases don't fail and also your code is maintainable on the long run. Next one is no documentation. Little or no documentation at all makes it difficult for you to use after a few years when you look at the code back, and also for others who are looking at the code.
When you look at the code you wrote last year.
Why? Oh, that's why.
Suppose your code is shared and if any of your team member, if anyone wants to look at the code, the lack of documentation is a severe issue which actually makes people difficult to understand the code. So whenever you write your code, make sure you have proper readme and inline comments, and also there are few AI tools which help you to generate proper comments and also help you to document the code better. But in spite of documenting your code with the help of AI tools, there would be certain scenarios where we need to incorporate few logics where we need to have some sort which cannot be generated by AI. So we need to add our own comments for others to understand it better. Next one is overcomplicating the solutions. There is a high tendency, like even for a simple program, some people write a complex code and it would be difficult to read as also to maintain in the long run. Don't overcomplicate the code. Sure that your code is as per the purpose. But you can ask me, like, suppose as an example, to find an area of a triangle. A code could be straightforward, but if there's a complex problem, like for example, find the shortest distance between two paths where there is some kind of traffic jam occurring, and let it be, we are taking a Google Map example. How do you maintain such type of code? To maintain such type of code and also to break it into simpler problems, we have to learn how to refactor the code, how to split up into modular functions so that people can do some changes in one part of the code so that it doesn't affect much in other part. If any new feature we are trying to incorporate. Writing clean code is an art. So learning to write clean code by helping to refactor and learning the best practices can really help you in the progress of becoming a better developer. So you can remove unnecessary complexity by writing simpler and clean code. Next one is not following the dry principle. Don't repeat yourself. Not following the dry principle usually leads to maintenance challenges. Initially, when you're building a project and if different features are requested, for example, you have an admin page and you have a basic user page, you are requested to do a sign-in request. You can write a different set of code for the admin page having a sign-in request and a different set of code for the user page to have a sign-in request. And suppose there's a scenario where you need to incorporate a multi-factor authentication, you need to change two different parts of the code. Instead, if you have a common function, that common function will handle both the admin and normal users sign request, and if you want to incorporate the two-factor authentication, so it can be did in a single place. So reusing functions and modules is something which we need to incorporate in the coding, where most experienced programmers usually do these type of coding when they're actually doing, but when a new person comes out, he doesn't care about all things, he just wants the system to work. So there are chances, similar examples where he creates different modules and it just starts coding as a separate functionality. Next one is lack of optimization. Code written won't immediately affect you when you're running the program in your local or if less users are using the system. Usually, these type of performance complications occur when huge users are using the system. That time you will see a high CPU usage, high memory usage. It's necessary to understand proper coding design patterns as well as algorithm and data structure, how each and everything work and how those can be used in a system. Usually people do a lot of loops and try to incorporate the logics and all the things whatever is needed, but that does not actually won't help you when you're dealing with high users. There are different algorithms to use. For example, you want to search number in a list. Do it by in a sequential order by starting from start to the end and finding the number, or you can find whether the list is in sorted order and try a binary search algorithm. So there are different mechanisms out there. It's necessary to learn data structure algorithm and try to incorporate that in your code.
Next one is not using frameworks and libraries.
Frameworks and libraries are always designed to make our work easier. For example, you want to log something in your application, for example in Node.js, you can write a custom function which captures the request response and then logs it in your log files. Or you also use predefined modules like Winston. These predefined modules would be used by many developers, so many would have raised issues and also provide much more enhancements so that whenever you use an existing package, those existing packages will really help you to code better. In Node.js, you can use the npm packages, and in Rust, you can use crates as a package which will actually help you to make your code better, and also we can reuse those packages for streamlining your code. Sure, to use those packages and libraries in your project as well to make your work easier.
Your code when you change a line to fix a small bug.
As a cybersecurity person, whenever I look into websites, most of them have lots of vulnerabilities in their website. Old vulnerability has occurred in many organizations and lot of security breaches have been made. It's necessary to educate yourself at least to the basic set of vulnerabilities like IDOR, SQL injection, all these kind of vulnerabilities. Security API endpoints, input validations, and prepare statements will really help your code in a minimal level to safeguard yourself from security threats.
The largest reported data leakage as of January 2024 was the CAM4 data breach in March 2020, which exposed more than 10 billion data records. The second largest data breach in history so far, the Yahoo data breach, occurred in 2013. The company initially reported about 1 billion exposed data records, but after an investigation, the company updated the number, revealing that 3 billion accounts were affected.
Enjoy watching the video. Your free support by liking and subscribe to the channel would really mean a lot. Some additional tips of improvement to make yourself a bit experienced person. Continuous learning. Make sure to learn something to keep your mind always active in some free code camps or in Udemy courses to just train yourself so that you don't leave the coding aside for some time. Next, participate in code reviews. Either be a reviewer or see how others review the code and make sure to see whether your code is better and needs any kind of improvement.
Your code is good, but it can be better.
Could be improved so that code reviews are necessary. Next, engage with the developer community and forums. You get to learn a lot of the lifestyle, how to be a bit productive and a lot of other bit stuffs for youth of your software career.
Your network is your net worth.
Next one is build projects, work on real world projects, contribute to open source, and also make sure that whatever you're trying to contribute and all those will help you to grow as a developer. I have some open source projects which you can contribute, so feel free to check the description links. Addressing these skills, self-taught developers can become more professional and proficient in their coding practices. Hope you enjoy watching the video. See you until next time. Bye.